Hey, so we're back in Spiral Abyss, this time floor 12. This is going to be a full 4-star clear guide for floor 12. I did try with a free-to-play team and I got halted very quickly because of the pyro agents that we'll see here in a bit. So starting here in the first floor, we're going to have 3 Nobushis conveniently all in a group right here at the front, which is very handy because literally just one Sucrose ult is going to put them all together. And this team right here with Xingqiu, Xiangling, Bennett, Sucrose, you can get through a lot of Abyss with just these 4 characters, so I really recommend building these 4. On this floor there's going to be that pyro turret thing that will occasionally infuse pyro to the enemy, which will increase their pyro resistance for one, and also their resistance to interruption. You can get rid of that using Electro or Hydro. So once we kill the 3 Nobushi, we're going to have 3 pyro agents. And honestly, the fastest thing, at least I think the fastest thing, is to just wait for them to move over to you. Just stand in the front of the room or the side or wherever and just wait until they do that charged attack. And then from here, you can use a Sucrose ult. Make sure to get rid of the pyro aura that they have because they're most likely going to have that with a Hydra unit. And then Sucrose with her skill and ult should be able to CC them enough that you can kill all 3 of them. This is where I died using a free-to-play team, because if you don't have any form of CC or crowd control, like Sucrose's ult or skill or whatever, you're going to have a really bad time here, because there are 3 of them, they constantly attack. And there's really nothing you can do about it. So this first half team is actually like really good. It's a pretty good team. And then we move on to the second half, which admittedly is not a very good team, but you know, I don't have that many 4-star characters built. So I just kind of have to work with what I got. So we're going to finish off this last pyro agent here, and we're going to move on to the second chamber, or the second half rather. And this second half, we're going to be dealing with a Geo Bishop at the top and then 3 Hydro Mimics. These are going to be the Boar Mimics. The Boar as well as the Squirrel, I think it's called a Ferret, they both regen. So you need to make sure that you're constantly attacking them, or make sure that if you have damaged one, to make sure that you just like kind of focus on him so he doesn't regen. Freeze works very well here. That's why I have a Freeze comp here. Freeze in general works pretty well in this floor of Abyss, especially for the 3rd chamber. And then we have Beidou here just to make quick work of the Hydro Mimics, because they're always going to be infused with Hydro, so Electro Charge is going to kill them pretty quickly. And once those guys are down, all we have is a Geo Bishop. This first one is going to transform into the Electro one after a little while. It's really just the same thing with wailing him. It's not that difficult. You're on floor 12, I feel like you know how to do it. So I'm just going to skip ahead to when he dies, and then we're going to move on to the second wave, which is going to be another Geo Bishop, this time in the back, and then the 3 squirrels, like I said. These squirrels hurt a lot. They do a ton of damage, but once again, Freeze works very well. Beidou Electro Charge works very well here. This Geo Bishop is different because he changes into Cryo, so unfortunately for me, I am using a Cryo team, so he's going to have increased resistance to that. And also you cannot freeze him, but, you know. So this team admittedly is not very good, and realistically what you would do is just move the first team, the Sucrose team, move that into the second chamber after this one. Like, after you clear the first room, the first chamber, just exit out, abandon challenge, and then move that team to the second team, because it does a lot better in the second half. But in the first half here, in the second chamber, we're going to be dealing with a Maguu Kenki, and I don't really have any other team to deal with it, so I just use this first team again. But you would switch them, ideally. So, first 10 seconds, you can't hurt him, he's invulnerable. Awesome. At about 75%, he goes into an invulnerability phase, and then he does that, like, the form thing where he has a cryo form and then his normal animo form. But like I said, this team, even though this is mostly made for like crowd control and a lot of enemy units, it still does pretty well with a single target enemy. So you do a lot of damage. It's mostly just because of Xiangling. So right here, 75, 65%, that around there, he's going to do that attack right there. You can ult through it. You can still dash iframe through it. It might take a little bit to get used to the timing of it, but you can. And that, a lot of it is, that is just Maguu Kenki. Once you fight him for a lot of times, Dodging him becomes very, very easy. You know when everything happens. Like this one. Do I dodge this one? I think I dodged that one. I don't remember. So it becomes really easy to dodge those ones after a while. But it is all the same thing with this guy. So in a bit, I'm just going to skip ahead. If you want to, you can always save your ults to when he's going to do like that large attack, because then you can just guaranteed iframe through it. And you will see me do that a couple of times, but it just kind of happens to work out. I don't actually do that. Like, that's not on my mind when I do that. So second half is going to be, like I said, a really good CC floor, but because I have Sucrose in the first half and I don't really have any other CC unit, there is Animal Traveler, but I don't have another Viridescent set, so it would have been kind of bad. So here we're going to be dealing with a Cryo-Assisted Mage and 2 Hydro Potioneers. We're going to kill the Hydro Potioneers first, because the whole idea is that they want to freeze you. The Cryo-Assisted Mage is going to constantly apply Cryo to you, and then these guys on the sides are going to just hit you with their AoE potion attack. And the Cryo-Assisted Mage also has a Cryo Aura, which is going to be the Ice Cage, which is incredibly annoying, but, you know, Ice Cage isn't that bad. So once we kill off these 2 Potioneers, we're just going to have only the Cryo-Assisted Mage. Breaking her shield, you're going to kill the flies that she summons. Otherwise, it really is just wailing on her. So I do skip ahead until I kill her, and then we're going to move on to the second half. Not the second half, the second wave. And the second wave here is going to be 3 Potioneers this time. 1 of every element that's not Hydro, and then a Mirror Maiden, which the Mirror Maiden sucks. Like, the same time, we're going to be dealing, or we're going to try to kill the Potioneers first, because they are just going to be incredibly annoying. Again, CC works really well here, but I don't have that, unfortunately, so it does end up taking me a very long time. The Mirror Maiden also has a Hydro Aura underneath her, which is going to summon the bubbles, the 4 bubbles around your character, which again is really annoying. It's like they try to make the Mirror Maiden more annoying. It's like, what's the most annoying aura that you could give her? Besides the Geo one, it's the Hydro one, which we're going to be dealing with the Geo one in the 3rd chamber. So here, at some point during that, I did get marked by the Mirror Maiden. The whole thing with the Mirror Maiden is that she's blind, she cannot see you, so until she marks you, she will continue to use attacks that will mark you. And then once you get marked, she's going to be a lot more aggressive, have increased resistance to interruption, all that, which is very annoying, so I just skip ahead. Trust me, you don't want to see that. It's very hard to watch. But we do end up killing her, and we're going to move on to the 3rd chamber. That was actually how long my game froze right there. That wasn't you, that wasn't YouTube, that wasn't anything. That was literally my game. So here in the 3rd chamber, we're going to deal with 2 Ruin Snakes and a Ruin Hunter. Now, in this one, you can run to the front of the room, you can run to the back of the room, the sides. It literally doesn't matter. It is RNG whether or not these Ruin Snakes burrow to you. Like, they'll go in the ground and pop up right next to you and then do like a, kind of like bloom into a flower kind of attack. That is completely RNG. As far as I know, there's no way to manipulate that. I tried very many times, run to the back, run to the sides, whatever, it doesn't work. Just be mindful that if you do run to the very back of the room, it's going to trigger the Ruin Hunter to go into his like aerial assault phase, which you don't want to deal with, so you can just run to the left, run to the right. It doesn't matter, you're just going to have to constantly reset the room again and again until they actually do what you want them to. But again, the Sucrose comp here does very well, and in the second wave, we're going to be dealing with the 2, I don't even know what these things are called, but they like fly and try to get away from you, like actively try to get away from you. They'll do like 1 attack that pushes them back very far. So because of that, it's really difficult to get them in one place. And also the Ruin Guard that we're dealing with has a Geo Aura, which if you have a shield, you can kind of ignore the Geo Aura, which is going to be the 2 Geo Waves. Going to be 2 sets of 2 Geo Waves that do a ton of damage. You can dash iframe through it, but you do have to like be paying attention to that and also always have it on screen. So if you want to, you can kill the Ruin Guard first and then kill the other guys. What you can do, like what I did at the very start, I moved to like the side of them, so just in case the one that did teleport back, he would get teleported back into the other one. So there's that. And then we move on to the second half, which is going to be the exact same thing as the second wave of the other one, just in the same formation as the first wave. So these two guys are going to be incredibly annoying, and a freeze comp does actually work pretty well here because these two ruin enemies are incredibly mobile. So that's why I'm using this freeze comp here, but it's not a very good one. It's like a pseudo freeze, pseudo electro charge with Barbara. But once again, Beidou does very good against these enemies, or I guess large groups of enemies, but it does take a lot. So I'm going to skip ahead to the second wave, which is going to be basically the exact same thing as the last one, but instead of a ruin guard, it's a ruin grader, and then these two like shield ruin enemies. The ruin grader is not really that much different than a ruin guard, so I don't know. There's not really much to it. It's a ruin grader. The shield ruin guys, occasionally they will put up their shields like that, and they will be immune to damage from the front. But if you're using something like Beidou, I believe Beidou just like bypasses through that entirely. And again, freeze works very well against these guys just because you can freeze them in place and then attack behind them, and you don't have to worry about the shield in the front. But just like the last one, killing the ruin grader first is not a bad idea, so you don't have to worry about the geo waves anymore. But I do skip ahead because it takes a very long time once again. You don't want to watch it. You take out this last guy, and that is going to be done for floor 12. And I'm going to leave you here with the artifacts of all of my characters. I hope this guide helped you, if anything, just with positioning, what to tackle first, all that kind of stuff. But I will leave you with all the artifacts of my characters. If you enjoyed the video, hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it. Tickle my bell if you want. And I will see you in the next one, which I don't even know what it's going to be, but I'll see you then. Bye-bye.